Welcome. My name is Charlotte. This is not just another lesson. This is the moment your life can begin to change. Maybe you have forgotten how strong you are. Maybe people told you that you are not enough. Maybe you stopped believing in yourself. But today, that can end. Today, you will hear something different. You will hear 10 lessons that can help you move forward again. 10 lessons that many people never hear in time. But you still have time. And that's why you're here. Some people believe change is too hard. They believe success is only for lucky people. They think happiness is not for them. But this is not true. The truth is simple. Life can change. You can change. But only if you are willing to hear these lessons. Not just hear them, but feel them. Let them go deep inside your heart. Let them remind you of who you really are. Let them help you begin again. So take a deep breath. Sit with yourself. Be honest. This is your time now. The first lesson is this: your past does not control your future. Many people believe they will always be stuck. They say, "I failed before, so I will fail again." Or, "I am from a poor family, so I will never have success." They keep repeating the same story, but your past is only a chapter, not the whole book. Maybe you made mistakes. Maybe you were hurt. Maybe you feel like you have wasted time. But that does not mean your future is finished. It only means your new story has not started yet. Think about this. There are people who made bad choices, who hurt others, who failed in school, who were lost. But later, they changed everything. They started learning. They became kind. They became strong. They built a new life. That is possible for you too. You are not your mistakes. You are not your pain. You are not what other people say about you. You are the person who is still here, still breathing, still trying. That means something. That means you still have power. It begins with a new way of thinking. You have to stop saying, "This is just who I am." You must begin saying, "This is who I am becoming." Your past is not a life sentence. It is only a lesson, one that taught you what not to do, one that gave you the tools to grow. So the next time your mind tells you that you can't move forward, say this: "I may have fallen before, but I'm still standing now. And that means I still have a chance." The second lesson is this: small steps change everything. Most people wait for the big moment. They say, "One day I will change my life." But that one day never comes. Why? Because change does not happen in one big moment. It happens in small steps, repeated every day. And that is something you can do. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. You just need to start. Think about learning English. You don't learn it in one day. You learn it by speaking one sentence, then another, then another. It feels small. It feels slow. But one day, you will look back and realize how far you've come. The same is true for anything in life. If you want to grow, stop waiting for motivation. Just take the step. A short walk, a short study session, a short quiet moment. These small things build something big. They build discipline. They build belief. They build you. Most people never begin because they believe their small effort doesn't matter. But it does. Every small effort is a brick, and every brick builds your future. One kind word, one good choice, one deep breath instead of shouting. It all matters. You don't see the result today, but you are building it anyway. So trust the process. Trust yourself. You are not slow. You are steady. And steady wins every time. There was a girl who wanted to learn how to speak. She had no confidence. Her voice was soft. She was afraid of people. But every night, she stood in front of a mirror. She said 5 sentences in English. Every single day. She didn't miss a day, even when she was tired. After 1 year, she was helping other students. After 2 years, she gave a small speech in public. People asked her how she did it. She said, "I just didn't stop." That's the truth. Small effort. Every day. No matter what. Now let's go to the third lesson. You don't need anyone's permission to begin. Many people never start because they are waiting for someone to say, "Go ahead." Maybe a parent. Maybe a friend. Maybe a teacher. Maybe society. But here is the truth. No one can give you your life. Only you can start it. You don't need approval to begin. You don't need permission to grow. You don't need to wait for someone to believe in you. You can believe in yourself. So many dreams are lost because someone said, "That's not for you." A girl wants to move to the city. A boy wants to be a writer. A woman wants to start a business. A man wants to go back to school. But someone laughs. Someone says, "Be realistic." And they stop. But here's the question. If your dream lives in you, why do you need someone else to agree with it? You don't. If it feels right in your heart, that is enough. There was a boy who wanted to make videos. His family said, "It's a waste of time." His friends said, "No one will watch you." But he made videos anyway. He was shy. His camera was old, but he showed up every week. After 2 years, people started listening. Now, his voice helps millions. And the people who once laughed, they now say, "We always knew you could do it." That's how the world works. First they ignore you. Then they ask how you did it. So if you are waiting for someone to tell you it's okay to start, this is it. You are allowed to begin, even if you're not ready, even if you feel scared, even if you're alone. You can still take the first step. Your dream does not need permission. It just needs you. This is the end of part 1. You have already taken one important step by reading this far. You are not the same person you were a few minutes ago. Something inside you has changed. And if you let it grow, it will become something powerful. Before I share the rest of the lessons, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me gives me strength. Lesson 4 is simple, but many forget it. Failure is part of growth. Most people try something new and fail. Then they stop. They feel embarrassed. They feel weak. They say, maybe I'm not good enough. But that is the wrong lesson. Failure is not the end. It is the beginning of learning. If you fail, it means you were brave enough to try. And if you try again, it means you are strong enough to grow. Think of a baby learning to walk. She falls again and again. Sometimes she cries. Sometimes she gets hurt. But she never says, I will never walk. She keeps going. She keeps trying. And one day, her steps become strong. She doesn't remember how many times she fell. She only remembers how good it felt to stand. That is how life works too. You will fall. You will make mistakes. But one day, you will stand tall, and you won't even remember the fall. There was a woman who wanted to cook for a living. Her first meal was too salty. The second one burned. The third one didn't even look good. But she kept going. People told her to stop. They laughed at her dreams. But she studied, practiced, and listened. 1 year later, her small kitchen became a restaurant. 2 years later, her restaurant helped feed poor families for free. If she had stopped after the first mistake, none of that would happen. That's the power of not giving up after failure. So the next time you fail, don't run away. Sit with it. Ask yourself, what did I learn? How can I do better next time? What will I try differently tomorrow? Don't waste the lesson. And don't waste your time hating yourself. Just try again and again and again, until you no longer remember how many times you fell, only how many times you stood up. The 5th lesson is quiet but powerful. Protect your mind. Many people clean their house. They clean their clothes, but they never clean their mind. They allow fear, hate, doubt, and worry to stay inside. These thoughts become noise. This noise becomes pain. This pain becomes your life. You must not allow that. You must protect your mind like it is your home. Because it is. What does that mean? It means stop spending time with people who only complain. Stop listening to voices that say you are nothing. Stop filling your head with things that make you feel weak or small. Your mind is not a garbage bin. It is a garden. And it needs peace to grow. It needs care. It needs space. There was a man who always felt tired. Not in his body, but in his mind, he felt heavy. He could not sleep. He always thought of problems. One day someone asked him, "What are you feeding your mind?" He thought about it. He listened to news all day. He argued online. He spent time with people who only talked about others. He decided to stop. One by one, he removed the noise. He started walking alone. He listened to calm music. He read books. He prayed. After a few weeks, he felt light again. Nothing outside changed, but inside, he was a new man. That's the truth. A peaceful mind is a powerful mind. You can't grow if your thoughts are always fighting. You can't move if your heart is always heavy. Clean your mind like you clean your room every day. A little at a time, you will begin to see clearly again. The sixth lesson is about time. And it is this: stop wasting your life on things that don't matter. Most people don't lose their dreams because they are lazy. They lose them because they are distracted. Hours on the phone. Hours watching someone else's life. Hours doing things that give nothing back. Then they say, "I don't have time." But the truth is, they gave their time to the wrong things. You have 24 hours, just like everyone else. But not everyone uses it the same. Some people use their hours to build. Some use it to break. Some use it to escape. Some use it to rise. What you give your time to becomes your life. If you give it to your dream grows. If you give it to your doubt, your fear grows. If you give it to nothing, nothing grows. There was a girl who loved to write, but she spent her nights watching shows. She said, "I will write one day." One day became 5 years. Then one night, she turned off the screen. She picked up a notebook. She wrote for 15 minutes. The next day, again and again. After 6 months, she had a small book. After 1 year, she gave it to others. They cried when they read it. They said it helped them feel alive. She said, "All it took was 15 minutes a night." So ask yourself, what are you doing with your time? Is it building your dream? Or is it killing it slowly? You don't need 10 hours. You just need 1 hour of focus. Or even 30 minutes. But give it fully. Let it count. Your dream is waiting, but it cannot wait forever. And now, lesson 7. You must forgive yourself. Most people carry pain inside, not just because of what others did, but because of what they did, or what they failed to do. They carry guilt, shame, regret. These feelings sit deep inside, and they stop them from feeling joy again. But here is what most people forget. You cannot go back. You cannot change the past. You cannot undo the wrong. You can only learn. You can only begin again. Holding pain does not protect you. It only makes your hands too full to carry peace. If you want to move forward, you must forgive yourself. Maybe you lied. Maybe you hurt someone. Maybe you gave up too soon. Maybe you stayed too long. It doesn't matter what it was. It matters what you do now. Say this to yourself. I did what I knew then. I didn't know better. But now I do. And I choose better from today. You must give yourself that gift. The gift of starting again. There was a man who lost his family, not by death, but by his actions. He worked too much. He shouted too often. He didn't show love. One day, his wife left. His kids stopped calling. He felt broken. But instead of staying broken, he changed. He began therapy. He wrote letters. He waited. One day, his son came to see him. They cried. They forgave. Not everything was perfect again, but the man could breathe, and the son could heal. That's the power of forgiveness. It is not about saying it didn't hurt. It is about saying, it can't control me anymore. You deserve peace, even if you made mistakes. You deserve love, even if you were once lost. You deserve a second chance. Even if no one else gives it to you, give it to yourself. This is the end of part 2. You have now taken in 7 deep lessons, not just words, but truths. You may feel something moving inside, a little hope, a little strength. Hold on to that. It means change is already starting. Lesson 8 is about people, and it is this. Not everyone is meant to stay in your life. Many times we try to hold on to people who are not good for us. We beg them to love us. We wait for them to change. We give them many chances. And each time they hurt us again. But we still stay because we are afraid to be alone, afraid to start again, afraid that no one else will care. But staying with the wrong people is worse than being alone. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to fight them. But you do have to protect your peace. If someone makes you feel small, makes you feel tired, makes you feel like you are never enough, that is not love. That is pain. And you don't need more pain. You need space. You need healing. You need to feel safe in your own life. There was a young woman who was in love, but her partner was cold. He didn't listen. He didn't care. Sometimes he was kind. Sometimes he was cruel. She always hoped he would change. She gave him everything, but he never gave her peace. One day, she looked in the mirror and didn't know who she was anymore. She said, "I miss myself." That was the day she left. It hurt. It was hard. But slowly, she found herself again. Her smile came back. Her light returned. Not because someone else gave it, but because she finally let go. Letting go does not mean you failed. It means you are brave. Brave enough to say, I want more than this. Brave enough to walk away from love that hurts. Brave enough to be your own home. If someone values you, they will show it. If not, let them go. It is not your job to make people stay. It is your job to love yourself enough to stop begging. Lesson 9 is soft, but it changes everything. And it is this: learn to be kind to yourself. The world can be loud. People can be cruel. Life can be heavy, but your own voice must be gentle. You must be your own friend, your own support, your own safe place. Most people say things to themselves that they would never say to anyone else. I'm stupid. I'm a failure. I can't do anything right. And then they wonder why they feel so weak. Your words are seeds. What you say to yourself grows inside you. If you plant hate, you will grow pain. If you plant love, you will grow hope. So start small. When you wake up, say one kind thing. When you make a mistake, speak gently. When you feel tired, don't attack yourself. Rest. Breathe. Try again. There was a girl who always cried when she looked in the mirror. She didn't like her face. She didn't like her life. She didn't like anything about herself. One day her teacher said, "What if you spoke to yourself like someone you loved?" She tried it. It felt strange at first, but she did it anyway. Every morning, one sentence. You're doing your best. I'm proud of you. We're okay. After many months, her eyes changed. She didn't cry anymore. She smiled. And for the first time, she felt like she was on her own side. Being kind to yourself is not weakness. It is strength. It is how you survive the hard days. It is how you grow strong roots. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be present with yourself, for yourself, every day. That is how you heal. And now, the last lesson. Lesson 10. Your story is not over. Life can feel like it's finished, like nothing will ever get better, like you missed your chance. But if you are still breathing, your story is still being written. You are not done. There is more to see, more to learn, more to give. You may not see the next chapter now, but that does not mean it's not coming. There are people who found their dream at 50, people who fell in love again after heartbreak, people who were alone for years but found a friend who changed everything. Life does not end because one thing went wrong. Life keeps going. And so must you. It may be slow. It may be quiet. But step by step, it builds again. There was a man who lost his job. His wife left. His friends forgot him. He wanted to give up. But something small inside him whispered, Keep going. He listened. He got up. He found small work. He started walking each morning. He read one book, then two. After a year, he had a new job. He was still alone, but he was alive. 2 years later, he met someone who smiled at him like no one else had. He said, "If I had given up back then, I would never see this." That is the point. You never know what is waiting. You just have to stay long enough to find out. Your story is not over. Not today. Not now. Maybe this is the moment everything begins to change. Maybe this is the page that turns everything around. Hold on. Even if it's hard. Even if it's dark. Even if no one else understands. You are not done yet. You are just beginning. And now we finish this journey. 10 lessons. 10 reminders of who you are and who you can still become. You have come this far. That alone is something to be proud of. Don't forget what you've read. Go back if you need to. Read it again. Share it. Speak it out loud. Let it live inside you. Change doesn't happen in one day, but one day can begin the change. Maybe that day is today. My name is Hannah. I am 26 years old. I live in Manchester, a busy city in England. I work as a library assistant. I love books. I love quiet places. Every day I help people find stories. I put books back on the shelf. I fix old pages with tape. I like my job. It is calm, and I feel safe there. I do not have a big family. I live alone in a small flat. I have one best friend. Her name is Zoe. We met in college. We became friends right away. Zoe is fun and loud. I am quiet and shy. But we understand each other. For 7 years, we were always together. We went shopping. We watched sad movies. We laughed until we cried. She was more than a friend. She was like my sister. I trusted her with everything. One Saturday, Zoe and I went to a local charity event. It was in a park near the university. There were food stalls, music, and people helping the poor. We signed up to give out warm clothes. It was cold that day. While we were folding jackets, a man walked over to our table. He said he wanted to help too. His name was Daniel. He had soft brown eyes and dark hair. He smiled a lot. He was polite. His voice was warm. I felt something in my chest when I looked at him. We talked about music and books. I was nervous, but he made me feel safe. Zoe teased me after he left. "He likes you," she said with a big smile. I blushed. I didn't say anything, but in my heart, I hoped she was right. After that day, Daniel started texting me. He asked how my day was. He asked what I liked to read. We talked about movies, food, and dreams. I felt happy. Every message made me smile. One day, he came to the library. He said he wanted to borrow a book, but I knew he just wanted to see me. We talked for 1 hour near the window. He didn't care about time. Neither did I. A week later, he asked if I wanted to go for dinner. I said yes. Daniel was kind. He listened. He laughed at my silly jokes. He opened doors for me. He never rushed. I liked how he treated me. We went to parks, watched movies, ate noodles on cold nights. After 2 months, he asked me to be his girlfriend. I said yes. I felt lucky. I thought, maybe this is love. I told Zoe everything. I showed her his messages. I told her about our dates. She smiled and said, "I'm happy for you." I believed her. Why would I not? One day, I invited Zoe to meet Daniel. We went to a small cafe together. The 3 of us sat at a table near the window. We laughed, drank tea, and shared cake. It felt nice. But something small bothered me. I saw Zoe look at Daniel when I spoke. Sometimes her smile lasted too long. Sometimes she laughed too hard. But I told myself not to worry. She was my best friend. She was just being friendly. I didn't want to ruin a good day with strange thoughts. So I stayed quiet. Weeks passed. Daniel changed a little. He didn't call every night like before. He said he was busy with work. When I sent him sweet messages, he sometimes replied late. I waited, thinking maybe he was just tired. But one night, I saw him online at 2 a.m. I had sent a message hours before. He hadn't answered. My heart felt cold. I tried to sleep, but I couldn't. Something was not right. I could feel it, but I didn't want to believe it. The next weekend, Daniel left his phone on my kitchen table while he took a shower. I wasn't trying to snoop. I really wasn't. But when the phone lit up, I saw a name on the screen. It said Zoe. My chest got tight. My hands felt heavy. I told myself not to look, but I did. The message said, "Last night was perfect. I miss you already." My fingers began to shake. My heart beat fast and hard. I could not think. I could not move. I felt like the air left my body. Daniel came back into the room. I held the phone out and asked, "Why is Zoe saying this?" His smile disappeared. His eyes looked small. He took the phone and didn't answer. I asked again, "What is this, Daniel?" He said, "It's not what you think." But he didn't explain. He just stood there. I felt sick. I asked again, louder this time. He said, "She was upset that night. I was just talking to her. That's all." But the message said something else. I didn't believe him. He left soon after. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning I called Zoe. I said we needed to talk. She came over with a big smile and coffee in her hand, like nothing was wrong. I asked her, "Are you seeing Daniel behind my back?" She froze. Then she laughed and said, "Of course not. We're just friends." Her voice was light, but her face was not. I looked in her eyes. I saw the truth, but she wouldn't say it. She just said, "You're overthinking, Hannah." I didn't believe her. She left soon after. I cried when the door closed. 3 days later, I got a message from her. It was short. It said, "I didn't want to tell you this, but Daniel and I have feelings. We didn't plan it. It just happened. I'm sorry." I read that message again and again. My hands went cold. My throat felt dry. I couldn't cry. I just stared at the wall. My best friend, my boyfriend, both of them, behind my back. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't believe it. I sat on the floor and hugged my knees. The pain was too big, too deep. I didn't eat that night. I didn't even drink water. I just sat there, feeling like my world was gone. The next day, I blocked both of them. I deleted every photo. I turned off my phone. I lay in bed for hours. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to stop thinking, but I couldn't. The same words stayed in my head. We didn't plan it, but they did. They chose it. They chose each other and left me with nothing. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. The days after that message felt like a storm inside my body. I could not eat. I could not sleep. I stayed in bed with the curtains closed. The light hurt my eyes. The silence in my flat was too loud. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. My chest felt heavy, like I was carrying a stone inside. Every time I thought of Zoe, I felt angry. Every time I thought of Daniel, I felt broken. I asked myself again and again, why did they do this to me? I had done nothing wrong. I loved them both. I trusted them. I gave them my heart, and they threw it away like it meant nothing. After 3 days, my boss called. She was kind. She said, "Take your time, Hannah. Come back when you feel ready." I said thank you, but my voice was low. I felt like I didn't belong anywhere. Even my flat felt strange. The chair where Daniel once sat, the cups we drank from, the small plant Zoe gave me last winter. It all hurt now. Every part of my life had a memory. And now, all the memories felt poisoned. I turned off my phone for a week. I didn't want to see messages. I didn't want to know if they were together. I imagined it anyway. I saw them walking together. I saw Zoe holding his hand. I saw Daniel laughing at her jokes. I felt sick. I stood in the shower and cried. I sat on the kitchen floor and cried again. The pain came in waves. Some hours I felt strong. Some hours I felt like a ghost. One morning, I forced myself to walk outside. The air was cold. My legs felt weak, but I kept going. I walked past the small shop where Zoe and I once bought matching scarves. I crossed the street where Daniel kissed me for the first time. I looked down at the ground and kept walking. I found a quiet bench in the park and sat. I closed my eyes. I let the wind touch my face. I took slow breaths. For the first time in days, I felt a little calm. A woman with a small dog sat near me. The dog barked once and wagged its tail. I looked at it and smiled just a little. The woman said, "Are you okay, love?" Her voice was kind. I nodded but didn't speak. She looked at me and said, "Sometimes people hurt us, and we don't know why, but don't carry their pain. It's not yours." Her words touched something inside me. I didn't even know this woman, but in that moment, I felt less alone. That night, I opened my phone again. I had messages from friends. Some said, "Are you okay?" One said, "I heard what happened. I'm here if you want to talk." I didn't reply, but I read every word. It felt good to know someone still cared. I didn't tell anyone about the whole story yet. I didn't want to sound weak, but inside, I knew I needed help. I needed to speak. The next day, I called my old friend Layla. We had not talked much in the last year, but she was always kind. I said, "Can we meet?" She said yes right away. We met at a small tea shop near the old train station. She gave me a big hug and said, "Tell me everything." So I did. I told her about Daniel. I told her about Zoe. I told her how I found the message, how I cried for days, how I felt like I lost my whole world. Layla listened. She didn't stop me. She didn't say move on or forget them. She just said, "You didn't deserve that, Hannah, but I'm proud of you for standing up. You blocked them. That's strong." I felt something warm in my chest. I had felt weak all week, but maybe she was right. Maybe it was strong to walk away, even when it hurt. After that, I started doing small things. I cleaned my flat. I washed my sheets. I threw away the mug Daniel once used. I packed up the books Zoe gave me and left them outside for someone to take. I needed space. I needed air. Every time I let go of something that reminded me of them, I felt a little better. I also started writing. Not full sentences, just words. On a piece of paper, I wrote things like, betrayed, alone, still here, not broken. One day, I'll smile again. I didn't show anyone, but it helped me understand my own heart. I read the words out loud. My voice was shaky, but it felt real. One evening, I saw Daniel's photo on social media. I didn't click it, but I saw Zoe liked it. That was all I needed to see. I closed the app and deleted it again. I sat on my bed and took a deep breath. "They made their choice," I whispered, "and I will make mine." I made a new rule. No more thinking about the past after 9 p.m. No more checking old photos. No more wondering if they missed me. I turned on soft music before bed. I lit a candle. I started reading again, something I hadn't done since the breakup. I picked a romance book, even though I didn't believe in love at the moment. But the story felt safe. It reminded me that not all endings are sad. Some nights were still hard. I still cried sometimes, but the pain didn't control me like before. I began walking every morning before work. I started drinking more water. I even said yes when Layla invited me to a painting class. I didn't know how to paint, but I liked the feeling of trying something new. It made me feel alive. A few weeks later, something unexpected happened. I was working at the library when a man came to return a book. He smiled and said, "You helped me last time. I found the perfect novel." His name was Aiden. He was gentle, with quiet eyes and a calm voice. I smiled back and said, "I'm glad you liked it." We talked for a few minutes. Then he left. I stood there, thinking about how easy that small talk felt. I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel sad. I just felt okay. And that was new. That was good. I wasn't ready to fall in love again. Not yet. Maybe not for a long time, but I was ready to heal. I was ready to live again, without fear, without pain. A few months passed. The pain did not leave all at once, but it changed. It became smaller. It did not sit on my chest like a rock every morning. Some days were still hard. I woke up and thought about them, but I did not cry every night anymore. I could smile again. I could laugh again. The world was no longer dark. It had color again. I still worked at the library. I liked the quiet. I liked the books. I liked helping people. But now, I also helped myself. I started to take care of my heart. I drank more water. I ate good food. I walked every morning. I did not look at their photos anymore. I did not check their social media. I did not want to know what they were doing. I wanted peace. One morning, Aiden came back to the library. He was kind as always. He smiled and returned a book. He asked me if I had more to recommend. I gave him 2. One was a novel about second chances. He looked at it and said, "This feels right." I smiled and said, "I think you'll like it." Before he left, he asked, "Would you like to have coffee with me sometime?" My heart beat fast, but not with fear. I said, "Okay, I'd like that." We met on a rainy Thursday. The cafe was quiet. The lights were soft. We sat near the window and drank tea. He asked me about my favorite authors. I told him I liked stories that made me cry. He said, "Me too. I like books that touch the heart." We talked about food family, and silly things. We did not talk about love. We did not talk about the past. And that was fine. We were not ready for deep things. We just wanted to feel calm. After the tea, we walked through the park. It was the same park where I once sat alone. But this time, I was not crying. I was smiling. The rain had stopped. The wind was soft. I looked at Aiden and thought, this is nice. I feel safe. We met again 2 weeks later. He brought me a book. It was about travel. He said, you should see new places one day. I laughed. I said, maybe I will. We walked through the city. We bought warm pastries and sat on the steps of the museum. I told him about my favorite city, even though I had never been there. He said, one day you'll go. I believe it. Time moved slowly, but gently. Aiden and I did not fall in love fast, but we became close. He respected my space. He never asked too many questions. He never made me feel small. I liked that about him. He was soft, like a quiet song. One night, I got a message. It was from Zoe. My hands shook. I had not heard from her since the day she said sorry. I opened the message. It said, I miss you. Not a day passes when I don't think about what I did. I was wrong. I hope one day you'll forgive me. I sat there for a long time. I did not reply. I did not feel hate. I did not feel love. I felt calm. She came too late. My heart had already changed. I whispered to myself, I forgive you, but I do not need you in my life. Then I deleted the message. After that night, I felt lighter. It was like a door had closed, and I did not want to open it again. I talked to Layla the next day. She said, I'm proud of you. You didn't stay in pain. You walked through it. You're not the same girl who cried for weeks. You're stronger now. She was right. I was stronger. I looked different. I walked taller. My eyes were not full of fear anymore. I smiled more. I spoke with more care. I said yes to small things. A cup of tea with someone new. A short trip to the countryside. A dance class, even if I couldn't dance well. Life was coming back. One afternoon, I saw Daniel at the train station. He stood with a bag in his hand. I stopped walking for a moment. He looked the same, but I didn't feel the same. My heart didn't break. My eyes didn't fill with tears. I felt nothing. I turned and walked away. I did not look back. Aiden and I met again that weekend. We went to a small book event. He gave me a flower. It was simple, just a daisy, but it made me smile. He said, "This is for the girl who found her way back." I held the flower close. I said, "Thank you. That means a lot." Later that night, I sat by my window. I looked at the city lights. I thought about the past, about the lies, about the hurt. But I also thought about healing, about growth, about second chances. I opened my old notebook. I turned to the first page. It said, betrayed, lone. Still here. I took my pen and wrote under those words, but never again. And finally, free. I closed the book and smiled. My story was not perfect. It was full of pain, but it was also full of truth. I had lost love. I had lost friendship. But I found something better. I found myself. Now, I know how to be alone and not feel lonely. Now, I know how to trust slowly. Now, I know what I deserve. I know that love is not loud. It is quiet. It is kind. It is honest. And when it comes, it does not break you. It builds you. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share.